Hello, welcome to another lesson. In this lesson, we'll be covering network reconnaissance fundamentals. This is going to be a well-explained lesson where I will explain the theory behind network scanning before we get hands-on with Nmap in the next lessons. So let's dive in. Let's start with network reconnaissance. What is network reconnaissance? Network reconnaissance is the process of gathering information about networks, systems, and services. It is the first phase of any penetration test or security assessment, and the goal is to map the attack surface and identify potential entry points. You can think of it as surveying the battlefield before launching an attack. You need to know what's out there before you can exploit it. Also, here you can see reconnaissance is equals to intelligence gathering, which means that the smarter the reconnaissance, the more targeted the attack. Why does reconnaissance matter? Let's first consider the problems. There is always a problem of blind attacks, and this wastes time and resources. Also, without reconnaissance, you are going to miss critical vulnerabilities. You won't also understand the network topology, and you will end up with incomplete security assessments. Now, let's check the solutions. With reconnaissance, you have a systematic structured information gathering. You're going to have a complete and accurate network mapping. And reconnaissance helps with service and version identification, which tells you what is running, and all this leads to informed attack strategies. Reconnaissance is what separates professionals from amateurs when it comes to penetration testing. Let's talk about the OSI model for security. The OSI model has 7 layers. The first layer is the application layer, and this is where protocols like HTTP, FTP, and SSH live. The sixth layer is the presentation layer, and this handles encryption and compression. The fifth layer is the session layer, and this manages authentication and sessions. The fourth layer is the transport layer, and this is where the TCP, UDP, and ports reside. The third layer is the network layer, and this deals with IP addresses and routing. The second layer is the data link layer, and this works with MAC addresses and switches. And the last layer, which is the first layer, is the physical layer, and this contains the actual cables and hardware. But for reconnaissance, we are going to be focusing on 3 layers, which are layer 3 for IP addresses, layer 4 for ports and services, and layer 7 for application level details. These 3 layers give us information we need to understand and attack a network. Network reconnaissance has 3 phases. The first phase is the network discovery phase, and this is where we find the live host on the network, identify active IP addresses, and map the network topology. Here, what we are doing is we are answering the question, what systems are out there? Then to the second phase, this is port scanning phase. And here we identify open ports, determine what services are running, and find potential entry points. Here, the question we are answering is, what doors are open? Then to the third phase, and that is the service enumeration phase. And in this phase, we detect exact versions, fingerprint operating systems, and identify known vulnerabilities. The question we are answering here is, what specific software is running and is it vulnerable? These 3 phases build on each other. You can't enumerate services if you haven't found the ports, and you can't scan ports if you haven't discovered the hosts. Now let's understand ports. Ports are virtual doors for network communication, and there are 65,535 total ports, numbered from 0 to 65,535, and each service uses specific ports. Now let's consider the common ports. Here are some of the common ones you need to know. The first one here is port 21, that is the port used for file transfer protocol, and as the name implies, it is used for file transfer. The second one here is port 22, and this is SSH. It is used for secure shell access. The third one is port 23, and this is telnet. It is used for insecure remote access. The next one is port 25, which is SMTP, and it is used for email. The next one is port 80, which is HTTP, and it is used for web traffic. The next one is port 443, which is HTTPS, and it is used for secure web. It is the secure version of HTTP. The next one is port 3306, and this is for MySQL database. The last one here is port 389, which is RDP for remote desktop on Windows. So when you see port 22 2 open, you know that SSH is likely running. When you see port 80 and port 443, you know there's a web server. So in summary, ports tell you what services to investigate. Now let's consider port states. Ports have 3 possible states. The first one is the open state. An open means a service is actively listening, it accepts connection, and it is a potential entry point. This is what we are looking for as attackers. The second one is the closed state. And closed means the port is accessible, but no service is listening. It responds with an RST packet. The host is reachable, but nothing is running on that port. The next one is filtered. Filtered means a firewall is blocking access to it, and that means you're going to get no response. You cannot determine if the port is actually open or closed underneath the firewall. Filtered ports tell you there is security in place. Now let's consider port scanning methods. There are 3 main port scanning methods. The first one is the TCP connect scan. This completes the full 3-way handshake: the sign hack, and the hack. It is the most reliable method, but it is easily detected because it creates full connection that gets logged in system logs. The next one is the sign scan, and it is also called the stealth scan. It is a half-open connection, and here you send the sign, you will receive the sign hack, then send RST to abort. It is harder to detect because you never complete the connection unless logging happens here. The next one is the UDP scan, and this checks UDP ports instead of TCP. It is slower and less reliable because UDP is connectionless, but it is important because DNS runs on UDP 53, SNMP on 161, and DHCP on 67 and 68. Each of these 3 methods has trade-offs between speed, reliability, and stealth. Now let's consider service enumeration. Service enumeration is critical, and this means that it is not enough to know port 80 is open. You need to know the exact version, right? So what is service enumeration? Service enumeration means identifying exact service versions running on open ports. It also means detecting the underlying operating systems and finding detailed software configuration information. The next question is, why does it matter? It matters because version equals vulnerability mapping. For example, Apache 2.4.49 has a known path traversal vulnerability, which is CV 2021-41773. But Apache 2.4.51 is patched and secure. And this means that if you know the target is running 2.4.49, you have an instant exploit. If it is 2.4.51, you need to find something else. And all of this mean that outdated versions are easy targets. Service enumeration tells you exactly what exploits will work, and this is why we always enumerate versions during reconnaissance. And you can see a real example that we cited earlier here. The service is Apache HTTP server. The version is 2.4.49, and you can see the CVE number, which has to do with path traversal, and this vulnerability lets attackers read any file on the server, including passwords and private keys. This is very serious. Now let's consider reconnaissance workflow. Here is the complete reconnaissance workflow. The first one is passive reconnaissance, and this is where you do whois lookups, DNS enumeration, and public record searches. The key here is that there is no direct contact with the target. You are only gathering information from public sources. The second one is active reconnaissance. Now you are directly interacting with the target, and here you do network scanning, port scanning, and service enumeration. The target will see your traffic and might detect you. The third one is documentation, and this is where you create a network map. You document all findings. Documentation is critical because you are going to forget details and you need to report your findings professionally. This workflow takes you from zero knowledge to complete understanding of the target network. Now to legal warning. This is critical, so pay close attention. And the first thing I will say is always get permission before scanning. So let's consider what a legal scanning looks like. Legal scanning or reconnaissance includes your own systems and networks, lab environments like DVWA and Metasploitable, authorized penetration tests with written contracts, and bug bounty programs with clear scope. Now let's consider the illegal scanning. Illegal scanning or illegal reconnaissance includes scanning networks without permission, but scanning company networks uninvited, any reconnaissance on government systems, and any unauthorized scanning whatsoever. The consequences are serious, and it could include criminal charges, heavy fines, jail time, and career destruction. I'm not exaggerating. People have gone to prison for unauthorized scanning. So only scan what you own or have written permission to test. If you're not sure, don't scan. Get permission in writing first. Now, let me introduce you to Nmap. What is Nmap? Nmap stands for Network Mapper. It is the industry standard tool. It is free and open source. It is cross-platform, that is, it works on Linux, Windows, and Mac, and it is used by security professionals worldwide. So what does Nmap do? It does host discovery, that is, it can help you find live hosts. It does port scanning, it can help you identify open ports. It does service detection, which helps you identify versions or helps you do banner grabbing. It also does OS fingerprinting, and this is where you identify the operating system, and it can also do vulnerability scanning via the NSE scripts. We are going to start using Nmap in our coming lesson, so stay tuned. Nmap is powerful and flexible with hundreds of options. It is extremely fast, that is, it can scan thousands of ports in seconds, it gives accurate results, and it has an extensive script engine for advanced scanning. In the next lesson, we are going to lay our hands on some practicals using Nmap. So what are the key takeaways in this lesson? The first one is network reconnaissance is the foundation of security testing. The second one is that we have three phases, that is the discovery, the port scanning, and service enumeration. Also, do not forget that ports are virtual doors, and we have 65,535 ports in total. For port states, we have open states, closed states, and filtered. Also, scanning methods include TCP Connect Sign Scan, which is stealth, and UDP Scan. We also consider service versions, and we saw that it reviews specific exploitable vulnerabilities, and we mentioned that always get written permission before scanning any network. And lastly, Nmap is the industry standard reconnaissance tool. That's all for this lesson. If you're here to subscribe to our YouTube channel, please do that now. Also, do not forget to like, share, and comment. Thank you so much, and see you in the next lesson.